Alright guys, just quickly, please make sure that you subscribe, click the notification bell, comment something down here just to have some good feedback, and like the video. Hey guys, Ellis here, coming at you with a new scout report video. Today's episode will be on Patrick Cutrone, and yeah, I'm just going to jump straight into it. Okay, so as I said, this video will be on Patrick Cutrone. He's a 20-year-old Italian striker who currently plays for AC Milan, and today I'll be comparing him with Ciro Immobile. Okay, so this season, Patrick Cutrone has made 12 league appearances. This is split by, he's made 3 starts and he's made 9 substitute appearances where he's only played, I think, on average about 15 minutes. So, appearance-wise, he's kind of lacking this season, but you can look into the fact they bring in Gonzalo Higuain, who is, he's still a world-class striker, so that's why he's not got as much game time this season as he did last season. In his appearances, he has made 3 goal involvements, 2 goals and 1 assist. When you compare this with Immobile, who's scored 8 goals and made 1 assist this season, you can kind of, look into that. Immobile has almost got like 3 times as many goal involvements, but Immobile has played about, I think he's played about 800 or 900 minutes more than Cutrone. So he's played, a good sort of 10, 11, 12 games more than Cutrone. And, I mean, he's played about 3 times as many minutes. And, if you times Cutrone's stats by 3, so, he's playing the same amount of minutes as Immobile, let's say. The stats are very similar. So 2 goals and 1 assist isn't a lot to be scoffed at. I mean, all this does mean that Cutrone has a goal involvement every 121 minutes compared to Immobile's 113. So, he's not, as much as that is quite low for 12 appearances, 2 goals and 1 assist, it is better than it looks. The stats in this case are quite deceiving because I haven't written down the exact minutes, but yeah, Cutrone is playing about 900 minutes, I think. 300 minutes. I think Immobile is playing about 1,000, 1,200. So, the stats, comparing the stats, you kind of got to take certain stats in this situation with a pinch of salt just because of the difference in minutes. Cutrone is averaging 0.8 shots per game with 0.7 being inside the box. And compare this with Immobile, is averaging 3.7 per game with 3.1 being inside the box. Obviously, looking at this, what I will say is that Cutrone is still almost having 1 shot per game inside the box, but in his average minutes is about 15. And almost 1 shot inside the box per game is it's a very high quality chance, and that is kind of what Cutrone is. I'll explain this more when it comes to my opinion, but he's very much a poacher. He's very much a striker that relies on being in the right place in the right time. Similar to Mauro Icardi at Inter Milan. But yeah, as I said, 0.8 shots per game, 0.7 being inside the box is quite good. I mean, he's not a player who shoots from outside the box very often, which kind of shows he's quite cultured. You see a lot of the elite strikers like Ronaldo and Aguero shooting inside the box. So it's quite a good sign as to the sort of positioning he takes up. He's also averaging 0.5 dribbles per game, with 0.1 being completed, which isn't great. I mean, I kind of personally would want a striker to be averaging more dribbles than that, but that's kind of my personal preference. My personal preference doesn't really matter at this point in the analysis. But again, as I said, that's because he's a poacher. Immobile is averaging 2.1 dribbles per game with 0.8 being completed, which is actually quite a low percentage for an elite striker. But I mean, again, I did say about how Cutrone's stats are quite low, but you do have to bear in mind he is playing kind of minimal minutes this season. I tend to try to stay away from players for these videos that haven't played many minutes. But I feel like Cutrone last season played so well, it's probably worth, it's worth making a video for. And he has made 12 appearances. I think his stats, looking at his stats, I've got the script next to me, the stats wise, I think they're quite deceiving. I think they look bad, but in reality, compared to the minutes and appearances he's made, he's actually done quite well. I think having, half dribble per game when you're playing for a not particularly good Milan team that's quite defensive. You're a poacher. I don't think dribbles are really his game. So I think having only half dribble per game with only 0.1 completed it's understandable. It's fair enough. And I mean, it's the same thing with 0.8 shots per game. It's not a lot of shots for a striker, but it's purely down to the amount of minutes that he's playing. Okay, so Cutrone, in my opinion, I think he's a very exciting player. I've watched some highlights of him, and he is one of these sort of really good poachers. He's always in the right position. If a player's driving towards a byline, he's stood on a penalty spot. If a player's crossing it, he's inside his defender, like in a good position to head of the ball. When someone's running at defenders, he's made a run or position himself, so he is ready to receive the ball. So yeah, I do kind of rate him in that aspect. I do like poachers are very aesthetically pleasing to watch because they are always in the right position. When you're watching a football match, let's say, and you're watching, for example, Liverpool with Roberto Firmino. Obviously, he's a striker, but he plays so deep in his team where he's a striker, but he comes back and links the play. Cutrone is a player who probably won't do that as much. What Cutrone will do will be let the team build up behind him, let the team build the play, and then he's just there to finish off the chance. And I do think that is quite a powerful thing, especially when you've got good shot conversion and good intelligence, which Cutrone does. I mean, last season I think he scored about 15 or 16 league goals, and he playing in a very similar way to Icardi. He was a top scorer for Milan in the league, and only 20 years old as well, guys. Like, I kind of talk about this quite a lot in my videos because all my videos are on quite young players, but all of these stats that I've said in this episode will only improve with time. I mean, by the time he gets to his peak in 7 or 8 years, when he's 27, 28, you can expect these stats to at least doubled. Even in this amount, even in the sort of amount of minutes that he's playing current. So I think that's kind of the stats wise, it's fair enough. I do think he deserves more starts. I think that the fact he's only made 3 starts this season is pretty appalling from Milan. I think they've got a really exciting player on their hands, and I actually think I'd be playing him over Higuain, or at least splitting it pretty 50-50, because Higuain is now 31, 32. I think his legs are going. He's not as fast as he used to be. I don't think his shot numbers are as high as they have been. Even when he was at Juventus, his shot numbers aren't as high as then. I think he scored a few goals for them, but I think with Cutrone you'd get the same amount of goal output as Higuain, but Cutrone will obviously develop more because he's 11 years younger than Higuain. Another really interesting thing I think about this is that recently Milan's youth sort of prospects they've got, whether they've brought them in or come through the academy, it's actually quite exciting. I mean, I've kind of been brought up in a time where my earliest memory of AC Milan was the 2005 Champions League. Obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan. I've said this many times, so that is a game I've watched continuously, and I remember how good that Milan team was. And it is one of those stories in football where it's quite sad to see a team that are this good, that have this sort of history, playing so badly. You're almost seeing it with Manchester United at the moment, and it is quite sad. But what I have noticed recently, and I've actually quite liked, is that their youth products right now are really exciting. I mean, Cutrone's 20. He looks like he's going to be a really good striker. They've got Calabria, right back, who looks like he's another youth prospect coming out of their youth ranks. He's a right back, but I think he can play left back as well. He looks quite exciting. He plays in the first team quite a lot as well. They've got Caldera. I think I've probably pronounced his name wrong, but he's just moved from Juventus as part of the Bonucci deal, and I think he's actually a really exciting young player. He had a really good season last year. I do believe Atalanta, but I could be wrong there. He had a good season where he was, and I might actually make a video on him because he's actually quite an interesting player. And Gianluigi Donnarumma, obviously their goalkeeper. I think he's only 20 now, and I think he's almost got about 150 starts for AC Milan. He's got almost 10 caps for Italy, probably more than that, probably pushing 20. At 20 years old, that's really good. So they've got the base of a really good young team, especially, I only mentioned other players. They've got, Frank Kessie. They've got another player, but I forget his name. It's really hard to pronounce. They've got Alessio Romagnoli. They've got really good young players. They've also got Alessio Conti. I don't know how old he is though. They signed him from Atalanta 2 years ago. But yeah, so they've got a really young team now, Milan. And I think they're only a few sort of signings and a good manager away from being an elite team in Italy again. I mean, I do think Gennaro Gattuso is holding them back, the manager. I'm not sure if he's been sacked yet. He probably has at the time of writing this video, or at the time of it uploaded. But yeah, I definitely think that they need it. Once they get a good manager and maybe 1 or 2 signings, 1 or 2 experienced heads in that team that still have high quality, I think they will be challenging for Champions League football again, and we'll be back where they should be. Okay guys, thanks for listening and watching. Might not be listening, might have been watching as well, who knows. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment. Any feedback's good feedback. If you like it, or tell me people are actually liking the video and enjoying it. If you dislike it, tell me, and then if you dislike it, and tell me why you didn't like it, and I'll look to try and make a change. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you click the notification bell so you do know when I'm uploading. I've noticed that there are a lot of people watching these videos that aren't subscribed, and if you are interested in these players and analysis of their stats, you'll be interested in the rest of my videos. And I do think I have quite a unique channel here. I don't think there's many people that actually do what I do on YouTube. I think the depth I go into and sort of the analysis, there's not many channels that do scouting videos like this. It's normally just highlight reel. So yeah, if you are interested, please subscribe. Please click the notification button. It takes half a second and it will definitely be worth your time. But yeah, thanks for watching guys. Bye.